Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Joe, and you're watching The Average Joe Show. So, a little bit of a quick intro right there, because I, in fact, have fully moved into my new house, and the setup is just thrown together so we can get a video out there. But what video discussion are we going to be talking about today? And I thought it'd be fun to go over about the last month and a half, almost a month and a half, of the Switch 2. Now, did some pre-Switch 2 discussion content, and of course, I've been vocal about my opinions on the Mario Kart. So I thought it'd be fun. It's been a month and a half. Busy for me, right? Because I've been moving, but life is life. That's gonna happen. In my spare time, the little spare time that I do have that is free, I do in fact spend playing my Switch 2. This is because the portability of the Switch 2, I will give it credit. The fact that I can just pick it up and play is the only way I've actually been playing games other than on my computer, uploading videos and stuff, because a lot of my consoles were actually packed up in boxes. So the Switch 2 during a move, fantastic. Thank God it released, because I would have been so freaking bored. Anyway, let's focus in on stuff that I like. I will also touch on points that I don't like. If you guys are on the edge on whether or not you really want to test out the system and buy it and stuff, stick around. I'm not just gonna hype the whole thing up, but I do think this console is a very, very good console. So hopefully you can also find it too, because I know that it was a little bit hard on release to get it. What I found best, and here's a good tip if you're trying to find this: if you go to the Best Buy app, when they get a restock, they send alerts out. They'll tell you the date, the time, all that kind of stuff. You go on that date, you generally can get it. So that is how I've had the best luck. I know someone else that watched one of the videos, I left a comment saying to do exactly that, and they ended up getting the Switch 2. So best way to get it, Best Buy. Thank you, Best Buy. Your queues were very good. So games, talk about the games, because the games I feel like are very important to the console. What I didn't realize is that before the Switch 2 came out, I was like, I'm gonna get Mario Kart World. I'm only gonna play Mario Kart World. I don't really care about any other games. Well, that was true for about 5 minutes, right? And I realized that all these games that I have on the Switch 1, all the backwards compatibility, run so much better. Not even needing to be a Switch 2 edition, just like your general base games. They run so much better on the Switch 2. This is because a lot of the developers of those games left the settings for the game at, like, especially for FPS, at no cap. That is huge. So you just put in the game, and then it starts running the game like it should be running, like on a more powerful console. So all the stuttering's kind of gone. There's some videos out there on the comparisons between the Switch 1, the Switch Lite, and the Switch 2. But like the fact that they had the mindset years ago to just leave it uncapped, brilliant. Like, that is so cool that now it comes out. It sucks that it comes out now and then you can actually play the game like it was supposed to be played, but at least we've gotten to that point. God, I've been playing so many of my original Switch 1 games, and some of them have come out like 7 years ago, some of them come out 2 years ago. To me, it doesn't really matter. Some of the games that I'll highlight have been like going back and actually playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the Golden City of Torna. I never fully beaten that DLC, meaning I've never actually played it, and I was like, you know what, I wonder how this runs in handheld. And sure enough, I had to come back to the house to open up the box to get to it, but once I was able to do that, I pop it in, and man, that game runs smooth on handheld. It runs smooth in the dock mode. The only problem with the handheld version is that the game's like running at like 720p, and that's in handheld mode. When you they probably could just run what it is in dock mode, but they're gonna probably have to come out with an actual upgrade to run it. In that game, there's a lot of trees, a lot of foliage, a lot of things popping in and out, like enemies in the background. You got a team of 3 people with blades, all doing attacks. There's a lot on the screen, and it's running very well in handheld mode. That game was almost unplayable in handheld mode, and the fact that my setup was tore down, I could just come grab it, put it in, and it runs perfectly. Fantastic that you can play such a big game. I know the resolution wasn't as good, but just that fact alone made me very happy. Also overwhelmed me, because I got a whole giant library of Switch 1 games that I'm looking forward to going back to and actually giving it a playthrough. I don't know what my cycle time is for going back and replaying games. It's probably 10 years generally when stuff comes out. That's just me personally, or if something comes out like a remastered, I guess that counts as like a replay, right? But the Switch 1 up-res games have been the main draw. I've also played, as you all know, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, made a video on that. It runs really good. Need to replay that. So Switch One games, definitely something. If you have a big library of Switch games, seriously consider getting yourself a Switch 2, because they all feel like brand new games, or not brand new games, but they feel really good to play. Let's move into Mario Kart World. It's a confusing game. It is a good Mario Kart. I don't think it is if you don't like Mario Kart, you're not gonna like this Mario Kart at all. And I feel the same way about Mario Party. If you don't like Mario Party, there's not a Mario Party to come out that you are actually gonna enjoy. And this Mario Kart World is definitely not for everyone. I think some of the difficulty spikes might be turning off to some people. That doesn't turn me off to it. It was just when I was going into the game, I was gonna try grinding the game out pretty much on release day, and I thought that's all I was gonna play for the next month. I found the driving mechanics to be much different, and it was a shock to me. Like, that was taken aback. I was like, oh, I thought they were just gonna be using Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because, you know, the game that they had for almost a decade. But they didn't do that, which is good. You know, moving away from that, and that kind of change is good. However, some of the changes that they've been making recently with like the online mode and the Grand Prix and all that kind of stuff, I couldn't really get behind. And I was just really focused on beating the single player experience. I love free roam. You know what free roam reminds me of? It reminds me of those games back on like the PS2, where it's like an open world sandbox for just ATV riders and dirt bike riding. And you could just do these crazy jumps, use crazy tricks, whatever you wanted to. I remember going to my friend's house and playing a bunch of those games. So that's what the free roam really feels like, because you're always constantly boosting. There's stuff to jump on the wall. There's extra cars to fly off of. You can jump on top of cars, all that kind of good stuff. And it really goes back to an era of games. And I think if you didn't experience that and didn't have that kind of gaming knowledge, it's a very niche. That's a very niche thing, you know, like those open world riding games, like racing games. And if you didn't play those, you kind of don't feel that kind of same thing going around free roam. Probably you probably feel like they're very open, probably feel like there's not a lot to do. There isn't a lot to do, but if you just like driving around and trying to do stupid stuff, then it is perfectly fun. I haven't actually been able to go all the way around the map in a single go, but you can. I really do need to try that and see how long it takes me to get to one side of the map all the way to the other, or just do like a big loop. Online, they screwed up the online, and I will not be playing online until they fix it. I know there are discords. The community has been pretty good about getting that discord set up and holding like competitive lobbies and stuff, but the fact that they want to make the intermissions like part of the random course selection without giving us normal Grand Prix doesn't really make sense. Like, courses and learning courses is about repetition. If you're only giving us one section of it off of an intermission, you can't memorize the course. You have to be doing the 3. I think a lot of people prefer 3, especially if they are, you know, competing or playing, you know, trying to get the highest VR and that kind of stuff. So Nintendo really does need to take those back out of the randoms, throw them in the knockout tournaments, you know, throw them into that bucket if you want to. They work totally fine there, because that's what it's supposed to do. But other than that, the game looks really good. It runs really good. I definitely could say that I want more. I want to see maybe if they do like a DLC kind of thing. Throw in the characters, throw in the courses, maybe make like a Tears of the Kingdom, since they're so inspired by open world games that they do like a Sky World and then a Dungeon Dark World. I don't know. They can figure it out, or maybe like island hop, right? Because you can just connect one island and go to the next island. Don't know, but they'll probably make that at least in the next 7 years for sure. I would say I definitely haven't spent as much time as I've wanted to in that game, but I've really been playing my Switch 1 collection. The other thing I've really been playing that's been taking away from Mario Kart World is, of course, the GameCube emulator. I have the Nintendo Online subscription to get that on the expansion pass, and I didn't think this is my childhood. GameCube is my childhood. That's the console that I grew up with. I remember sitting with my sister the Christmas, I think probably 2 Christmases after it released, or maybe 3 Christmases after it released. And, you know, you go to Toys R Us, they had like the little coupon card catalog kind of thing. And there was the Platinum Special Gale of Darkness GameCube. We asked for it, we got it. Have a whole bunch of games for my GameCube. And it is truly one of my favorite consoles of all time. What I didn't realize is I've played a lot of that emulator, and I've played those games several times already. Wind Waker being one of my favorite Zelda games, probably my second favorite Zelda game. I just love Wind Waker that much. I think it is the perfect tune Zelda game, one of the best 3D Zeldas there is out there, and I can't get enough of playing it in bed. That is something as a kid, if I was a kid in this generation, like, you would have to confiscate the Switch 2, that you would have to like throw it up into a cookie jar and like make it so that if I try to get it, it just immediately falls and breaks the Switch. Something like that, because I would be constantly trying to play that all night long if I could just like get under the covers and play a GameCube game. Oh god, I would never go to bed as a kid. The controls are a little bit hypersensitive. I think some of the like the Joy-Con sensitivity is a little bit high. I think it's nothing that you can't fix with a little bit of muscle memory, in my opinion. And overall, when you're playing it on handheld mode or on the TV, it looks good to me. It looks fantastic to me. A little bit brighter. I don't see a lot of stuttering. Maybe I'm not paying attention. Maybe I'm having too much fun just playing one of my favorite Zelda games. I really wish I had the Switch 2 as a kid growing up with all those games, you know. And I think Super Mario Strikers has come out already. That's a good game. F-Zero, of course, is a very fast-paced racing game. You kind of have to be in that kind of genre game. If you're not gonna really like that. But it's like JoJo. It's like JoJo. The cutscenes are pretty much like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And Soul Calibur, never played it. I've always been interested because when I remember going to my friend's house who had it and Link was there, I was always interested in it, and I've just never seen a copy out in the wild to get. And now I don't need one. And that's going to be the best part, because when Sunshine comes out, when I really wish they would give me the Sonic games on it, but if they did like the Sonic Heroes, Sonic Adventure Battle 2, Sonic Riders, just give me all the Sonic games. Do something with Sega. Show the Hedgehog some love. Pikmin, of course. I'm just listing all of it. Ooh, what about like Tak and the Power of Juju? That would be good too. There's just a ton of really good GameCube games. I hope that they do a good job of filling out that selection. It is definitely worth it, especially since you get online access and you get Nintendo Music and all that kind of stuff. You know, Nintendo's just trying to consume my entire life right now, but that's okay. I'm fine with it. But yeah, I really haven't played it too much in multiple modes. Like the mouse mode, I haven't really tried. I don't think this might be a downer, especially since they drove the mouse mode so heavily in a lot of their features. A lot in their directs is that they really don't have a lot of stuff for the mouse mode, and I've had no reason to really go test it. I don't really have any video ideas to go test it. The one thing that they should do is put it in Super Mario Maker. I think I would definitely go back to Mario Maker and play it if it had like a point and click kind of user interface. That would be amazing. But other than that, until Metroid Prime 4 comes out, I'm really not going to go back until that game where I can point and click Samus's arm and shoot some alien scum. I don't understand why they were pushing it so much if they don't have a ton on release for us to go to. Even like I said, they should have done like a Switch 1 game with it and then advertise that, but they didn't. That's okay. Another weird thing is, and this is like a cautionary if like you're letting your child play this and they fall asleep with consoles in their hand. That was my brother. This Switch, the Switch 2, gets very hot when it's in docked, and when you pull it out, like the back, which I believe the fan is kind of like on the back side, on the left side if it's facing you, and I think there's a fan there that's constantly blowing air on it, but when you pull it out, it is still ridiculously hot. I haven't seen it really heat up if you're playing like the GameCube emulator or the Switch 1 games, or even maybe like the Switch 2 Breath of the Wild and that kind of stuff. I really haven't seen the heat like build up there, but it's like at the top left of the console where that fan is. You pull it out, it is just brutally hot. And the only other time I've seen it get really hot is if I maxed out Mario Kart World with brightness and just been playing it for an extended session. That back corner does get hot. I don't know if this is just like for Switch 2 stuff or, you know, just for dock stuff. I'm really not sure, but I have noticed it. I don't think it's like melting the plastic. It's definitely not going to melt whatever the plastic is, but I feel like if your kid fell asleep and you left your arm on it, they could definitely get burned. So just be careful. It gets hot. Another thing in terms of power supply is this battery sucks. If you're running it at max brightness, playing Mario Kart World, you're only going to get about 3 hours a game. But on the plus side, they have added the charge on the front of the Switch, right? The little drop port, and to the top instead of just the bottom. So hopefully if you're buying an outlet, it's more easier to maneuver, basically, which is not a terrible thing. I just kind of wish, I feel like they're going to come out with a Switch 2 Pro at some point. It's going to have much better battery life. I would rather, if you're already paying a pretty penny for this, you know, like $500 for the system, if there was like an extended battery or like battery pack or something that you could just attach onto it at this point, that would be kind of cool. Anyway, those are a couple of my thoughts on this console so far. I know it's just kind of me just talking about what I've done so far. It doesn't go in depth, too depth into anything, but you know, maybe if you're on the fence about this system, maybe if you were just, you're hemming and hawing, you know, do I spend the $500 on it and go all in? I would say if you have a big Switch 1 collection, if you enjoy playing games on the go, if you find yourself always not in a position to hook it up to a screen, and that you find that a lot of your games are a lot of your gaming is just portable, I would say go in with the Switch 2. And even sell, if you have a Switch 1, just sell your Switch 1. Just sell it off and then use that money to pay for the Switch 2. That is one of the things I don't like about GameStop not being here, because GameStop was always like the easy solution to just go trade it in and then get a reduced value. So I know with GameStop's closing, that's not always easy to do, but there is things like Facebook Marketplace. If you're like, don't go meet somebody, you know, random in the alley, or maybe go meet someone like me, just random dude on the internet talking about video games. Maybe don't meet them in the corners, but use that money for the Switch 2 is definitely worth your time, your money, if this is what you like to do, if that is how you like to game. I think for me, just the portability factor of it has won me over. Again, I know that was the appeal of the Switch 1, but helping me move, it's really helped me in my personal life, you know, just because of all the busyness that's been happening. And sorry, I forgot to talk about this. The screen is bigger, and just watching it run, I think it goes 1440p, 60 frames per second on handheld mode is fantastic. I don't think you can really beat it. Watch Nintendo games play like that is something that you haven't seen since the GameCube. Shocker, in terms of power, and it's just nice to see. It is perfect for me. If you're like me, guys, go ahead and get it. So that's all the time I got for you guys today. So if you like this video, like the video. If you like what we do here on the channel, we do commentary on video games, you know, where I do like some freeform discussion kind of like this about any game that I feel like, any console I feel like, any topic I really feel like. And that is the cool part about this channel. So if you don't want to miss that, be subscribed to the channel. I very much appreciate everyone that has been subscribing to the channel. We are almost at 300 subs. Didn't even think I would get to 20, and we'll do something special for the 300 subs. I got a very good idea when I was actually moving my boxes around. I stumbled across something that if we get to 300 subs, I will show you guys, and you guys will be like, that's pretty lame. But that's besides the point. Leave a comment down below what you think I'm gonna show you, and of course, have a great one wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.